Welcome to What the Sports, a show made by and for damaged people. I'm TJ Carpenter.
And I'm Brandon Perna. Less intelligent, but also less damaged than TJ. Today, I want to be breaking down, doing a second-by-second recap of the Blac Chyna oral BJ sex tape. That's a play on words of toothbrush and fellatio. If you're not here to learn about the length of Blac Chyna's incisors, you're in the wrong place, TJ.
I thought we agreed we're not discussing that TMZ clickbait trash. Not that I'm against clickbait trash, but this has absolutely nothing to do with the sporting events of the week.
You're right, fair enough, but I thought it was relevant since the man she was filleting was a member of the Suicide Squad.
That also does not help your case. Let's start the show. Week 2 is in full swing at the Winter Olympics, and Norway is running away in the overall medal count. This is the most powerful Norway has been since the Viking Age, or at least last Winter Olympics. And the United States has been reduced to watching from the sidelines as Canada ice fucks its way to another gold medal.
See, socialism can work. Free healthcare and free love. That's Canada's motto. As long as you satisfy the woman first, TJ. Speaking of which, the NBA dunk contest, like the Blac Chyna sex tape, came and finished. Donovan Mitchell jumped over a woman, child, and a squatting Kevin Hart. I'm not saying Mitchell doesn't have hops, but Kevin Hart is shorter than the amount of time Fergie is able to hold a note.
After listening to Fergie's national anthem, the Flat Earth Society has decided to change its name to the Fergie Earth Society, which should clear some things up about their message. I mean, they never really thought the Earth was a flat pancake. No, instead, they just believed the Earth was tonally off, except for Fergie.
Don't do that. Fergie, I love you. I like Fergie too. It was different. That was different. Had to be different in 2018.
My favorite terrible rendition of the national anthem was Roseanne Barr's version. President Bush Sr. criticized her for disrespecting the song, which really makes Roseanne the original Colin Kaepernick. Larry Nance Jr. should be called Marty McFly because he took us back in time with this dunk. All he's missing is Biff Tannen and a mother who tries to make out with him with her lips and tongue and lips at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance.
Well, you know, Brandon, Freud says all our emotional and psychological issues come back to suppressing our own romantic feelings towards our mothers. So maybe Larry Nance is just ahead of the curve in his own personal development. Team LeBron beat Team Steph in this year's NBA All-Star Game in the final seconds, which made me realize LeBron James is the greatest pickup basketball player of all time. And I will fight you if you disagree with me on that. Which is a nice consolation, I suppose. If Jordan is the greatest player of all time, period, LeBron can be the greatest fake player of all time. You know, when it isn't real, when nothing is really on the line.
Actually, the greatest fake basketball player of all time is Joanna Man. You know what would be fun, TJ? If, like LeBron and Steph, and I am LeBron, we picked our fake all-star team based on movie and TV basketball players. Wouldn't that be fun?
Wait, okay, so we have Joanna Man.
Yes.
I think I'd like to add Teen Wolf at point guard.
All right.
You on board with that?
I like that, and I think we should have at least 2 animals on this team. Give me Air Bud, and TJ, you cannot pick Shaq from Blue Chips or Michael Jordan from Space Jam.
Well, what about Will Smith from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? You know, he had an effective usage rate at Bel Air Academy of 111%. Jordan was never better than 30. I
think at this point, Denzel Washington would be the logical choice from He Got Game to round out our team. But give me A&K all the way, baby. Anton, the ghost from The Sixth Man.
Well, if he's a ghost, that leaves you short a man on the court. So I'll draft Salih, the big man from The Air Up There with Kevin Bacon. Maybe throw in Whoopi Goldberg as the head coach from her role in Eddie. She did coach the Knicks in that movie, after all, which means that she already knows how to coach fake basketball.
America's favorite propaganda machine, which I hope to be employed by one day, turned its red glowing eyes towards the NBA when host Laura Ingram told LeBron James and Kevin Durant to shut up and dribble. The last time someone told LeBron James to shut up and dribble, he was fired. That's right. He had his head coach, David Blatt, replaced with Tyronn Lue with one DM. He didn't even use words, just 3 emojis. Somehow, David Griffin knew exactly what this meant. Fire the tool, and let's wash ourselves from this mess.
And look, Ingram invites LeBron on her show. He's not going to go on there. What he said wasn't even that unpopular of an opinion. So, there's only one way to settle this. Same way we did back in the neighborhood.
An upper middle class suburban neighborhood.
One-on-one street ball. It's 1st to 15, you call your own fouls, 1s and 2s. And no funny business below the shorts, all right? You know what I'm talking about. No ball tapping and no leg hair pulling. I'm looking at you, LeBron. You may be thinking, look, LeBron James is 6'8". He's a 3-time NBA champion, 4-time NBA MVP, and 14-time NBA All-Star, and arguably the greatest athlete that has ever lived. And Laura Ingram is an old, tiny white lady. Isn't this a mismatch? No. Laura Ingram is 6'3". She's spent extended periods of time in a room with Keith Olbermann and made it out alive, and has elbows like those swords you see on sale late at night on Comedy Central.
You mean the katana swords or the two-handed great sword, TJ?
Does it matter?
Does it matter? Does it matter, TJ? How about you get yourself a katana sword? Basically a sword made for babies, and make a 3-centimeter cut on my pinky, and I'll cut your fucking head off like a Stark with the two-handed great sword. Can we roll the efficiency and power and, dare I say, majesty of the two-handed great sword commercial, please?
Efficiency and power, and I even say majesty of this great sword. No one is going to be able to take advantage of you when you have a great sword in your house. Flick, 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 and off comes apart 20 pounds of beef.
Flick, 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 and off comes apart 20 pounds of beef. Also a quote from the Blac Chyna sex tape. TJ, why can't we show the Blac Chyna sex tape?
Because I found her lack of effort very upsetting. That's how you get benched, Brandon. I want someone whose heart is in it, which is why I'm telling you to watch out for Ingram, who was once described in the New York Times as, quote, an acolyte of Ronald Reagan. That is way more terrifying and intimidating than King James, whose biggest claim to fame at this point is that he's not Michael Jordan. Get your bets in, Brandon. Ingram -7. That's the smart play here.
Hey TJ, have you ever wanted to cut a pig's face in half? Of course you have. And now you can do it with the cold steel two-handed great sword. It's great for fucking cutting pigs' faces in half.
Well, the All-Star Game halftime show was perhaps the blackest it's ever been this year.
The same way China is the blackest it's ever been. Blac Chyna.
It was like if Miami and Atlanta fused into one city, had a party, and decided to invite Ernie Johnson, the nice white guy who wears a bow tie to church on Sunday. And all of this happened on TNT. How does TNT transition between that and reruns of Franklin and Bash? Oh, here's Migos, some thick girls twerking in front of neon lowriders. Here's Pharrell, who looks like Amber Rose now, this dancer, who also looks like Amber Rose now, and then all these women, who I'm pretty sure are clones of Amber Rose. Now, let's watch Rizzoli and Isles.
In Utah, they didn't even show the All-Star Game. It was deemed to be in violation of several state laws. They just showed highlights of the 1996-97 Utah Jazz season, minus the NBA Finals, of course, narrated by legendary NBA duo and members of that Jazz team, Greg Ostertag and Anton Carr.
Eric Hosmer is now a San Diego Padre. His 8-year, $144 million deal is the largest in franchise history. Great news for the Rockies, the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks. And the Royals. Oh, but TJ, he's got 4 gold gloves at first base. You know how hard it is to play first base? It's where they put the fat kid on the playground, which turns out that's exactly what they do in the majors as well. And I'm sure he'll work hard too, because what could possibly distract a 28-year-old, attractive, chiseled, very well-groomed, beautiful idiot who just got $144 million in San Diego, California?
TJ, seems like you would feel lucky to get to first base with him. I feel like you're sexually aroused by his contract. And remember, kids, when nothing truly eventful is happening in sports, turn to the internet, where the great cold steel two-handed sword can magically change you from being a fit, muscular, handsome Asian dude into Andy Reid's brother.
Finally, as Kirk Cousins prepares to whore himself out to NFL teams across the country, the Jets may be the first and only NFL team to offer him a fully guaranteed contract. Wow. The Jets are like that guy who can only get laid if he pays for it.
Except they open up their wallet and show the prostitute all of the money they have before negotiating a price, and end up paying double what a normal John would. Having to pay Cousins that much money has to make the Jets feel uncomfortable, like kissing your cousin. In this case, kissing your cousins.
It's in his blood, like that kid from Deliverance or the later stages of the Habsburg dynasty.
It's a storyline straight out of Game of Thrones or Star Wars or the Bible.
Well, if you want unpopular takes about Wonder Woman 6 months after it came out, follow me on Twitter at TJ Carpenter Show.
See, fuck me. Ah, fuck.
We're gonna go through this whole thing again, by the way. You're gonna have so much fun editing this. Go to the flick. BP3, BP on 3, flick. The big man from up there with Kevin. You're very hairy under there.
Oh, you don't even know the start of it, TJ.